Hey everybody, welcome to SwJ. Today we're picking up where we left off last time, working on my blanket project. I've already gone and pinned the next piece on, had to lay it on the ground to lay it out flat and get it all to sit right. So I did that before I started the camera. So first what we got to do is do some trimming. I'm going to just trim off some of the excess, line everything up, make it all pretty like. You should just leave the ends so that I can tie into whatever next pieces that I'm doing beside. And then it's as easy as sewing straight across. Wow, that's not the most straight two-layer cut I've ever done. But you know what? It's not that important. It'll be okay. I'm breaking out the red thread. You know, red on white jeans, cringy. But, for all the intents purposes of this blanket, I think it'll be alright. Oops. See if I can do this better when it's an extreme close-up for you guys. You can probably see what's growing wrong. There's a thread there, I think. Oh, did I get it? Got it. Tie it off, and away we go. Getting ahead of myself there, but away we go. Alright, and away we go. So I've been starting in the middle with these and just working my way to either end. And just using a blanket stitch, which I use on pretty much everything, not just blankets. It's like my new favorite needle, which is a couch and pillow needle. It's just nice and big. Fits my hand, I can get more purchase on it. Keep everything nice and snug. Cheers. A little bit of sugar-free ginger ale today. It's made with stevia sweetener. Actually quite good. Anywho, on to good world news. Talked about the Great Barrier Reef on this channel before, and interesting thing that I hadn't known about is that the story I featured a few episodes ago was that the Great Barrier Reef was spawning again, and part of that spawning success was due to people. The very same creatures that caused difficulties are now healing it. And what they're doing, the scientists in charge of this whole thing, Cheers. They are basically doing in vitro fertilization with coral sperm and eggs. So during a natural spawn, the scientists, they come in and collect, because when coral spawns, it's like a huge cloud. So there's an excess. So the scientists come in and collect some of the excess. So many crude jokes I could make right now, but that's not really what I'm going for. The theme of this channel. Let your mind serve itself. So they collect part of this cloud of eggs and sperm and make larvae. And if you didn't know that coral was alive, coral's alive. That blew my mind when I found out years ago. So what they do is they take that in vitro larvae and they relocate it into areas that have been particularly hard hit by reef dying off, or bleaching events. So it's basically the same as when they restock fish in a lake. They're just restocking coral larvae, and those coral larvae are growing. Well, they're saying from specks like larvae to the size of dinner plates, like not serving plates, but like dinner plates. Not sure how else to say that. And they're spawning, which is really, really awesome. So now the coral that have been relocated into new areas are now growing and spawning, and we are actively helping the reefs to regenerate and regrow after a long period of just being devastated. So that's pretty massive news for the world. I'm glad that people have recognized the value of the oceans and the need to preserve them. And everyone can do their part in saving the oceans, and all you have to do is not throw garbage onto the street. Put your garbage in appropriate places. Because when you put garbage in the street, it eventually ends up in the water. Once it's in the water, it gets into the waterways, and the waterways all lead to the ocean. So if you're the type of person that throws garbage out your window, you are almost literally throwing garbage directly into the ocean. Some of it will get cleaned up, some of it will get, stuck to things, on land, and other parts of it will make it all the way to the ocean, and they'll have to use the big boats that they have going on and clean up your garbage. Some of my favorite YouTube videos are the ones where people are caught throwing their garbage out of their vehicles or just walking along and throwing it on the ground, and people actually calling them on it. Sometimes when these are very large men saying pick up your garbage, people stop and they pick up their garbage, or even if they're just shamed, sometimes they'll do it. But usually people have to be threatened. People who are of that mindset that, hey, the world is my garbage can, I'm just going to throw away everything everywhere. Those people usually have to be threatened or intimidated into doing the right thing, which is very unfortunate. And it seems to be that, like, a lot of the times that's split about 50-50. One guy will throw stuff away, one guy will pick it up, won't pick it up but won't actively throw it down. Probably about 1 in 100 will pick it up. Those are the ones we need to encourage. Anywho, other good world news. There's been a very large study on CBD and its effects. There have been a few, other smaller studies, and seen that CBD. If you don't know what CBD is part of marijuana, basically the non-psychoactive part of marijuana. It has a lot of health benefits, as we're about to see from this study. The study was the largest to date. It contained 3,000 patients for a 1-month study period. The funding was all done by the CBD companies who were being tested. So they, I'm assuming, provided their wares and also whatever funding needed for, associated costs. And it makes sense, you would want your brands to be compared against everything else that's out there. So why would you not fund that? That's, really amazing research. Cheers. So this study, and apparently it's the first of many studies on CBD to come from this group. The study showed that 71% of the 3,000 people what would that be? 2,130 of the 300 or 3,000 patients. 71% of the 3,000 showed an improved overall feeling of well-being. Just generally felt better. And this was all scientifically done. They had a placebo group, and it was all statistically significant results. 63% of the 3,000 would that be 1,890? Somebody check my math. 63% of the 3,000 experienced better sleep and lower anxiety. Two different measurements, both, 63% of them, of the people tested, showed an improvement. In either sleep, improved sleep, or lower anxiety levels. Hope I'm saying that right. Got kind of lost in there. Anyway, improvements. And 47% of the 3,000 so 1410. Math right there, 1410. I just do it fast and it's gone. 47% of the 3,000 experienced a pain reduction. So that's pretty massive news, and these are all products that are commercially available over the counter right now, that anyone can go out and purchase, if you can afford them. That's not a comment on them being prohibitively expensive. That's just a general comment on not everyone has the budget for CBD in their lives. However, if buying some of those CBD products could replace some of the pills that they're paying for and taking, and or if insurance companies start recognizing CBD products and start covering CBD products for a lot of different treatments, then it'll just, oh man, I got a little lost again there. It's just imagining how much of an improvement there could be if CBD was covered by insurance companies. Like whatever they would cover, percentage up to a dollar amount or unlimited or whatever. Doesn't matter, as long as they would cover some of it, give people some relief for how much CBD does cost. Especially for people like myself who have been relying on CBD and that sort of medication for quite a long time. I'm a very active user of CBD and THC for treatment of various conditions. What have your experiences been? What have you learned about THC and CBD? Have you tried some? Have you tried for specific results? Let me know what your experiences are, good or bad. I find most of the time there's an anxiety reduction, and this is where marijuana is interesting because it affects everyone a little bit differently. Some strains that really help certain people would really make my anxiety worse. What is traditionally known as a sativa strain is a more energetic, high energy, more uplifting type of weed, and my body seems to need more of the indica or like the stone, the more down kind of weed. So it all depends on what your body needs, what your specific reactions are to the different types of marijuana out there. Whether you go with just a straight CBD or with an actual blend, like a THC CBD blend, can do different things. I find the CBD is really good for my anxiety. I find THC is better for my mild depression and for pain. So it all depends on what you're trying to treat and how your body responds to the different components of marijuana. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always willing to talk about it. And all I can do is share my experiences. I'm not an expert. It's really encouraging to see how many places that cannabis has been legalized. Just, give people a choice, and like we were talking about a few episodes ago, with Holland and their prisons emptying, if we don't want overcrowding in our prisons, then take away the soft drugs as crimes. If anything, if you're going to do anything like that, do it as a fine. Don't give jail time for having an ounce of weed on you. Or a couple of grams of mushrooms, or whatever the case may be. What they call soft drugs, the more the natural type stuff. Lots of research been going into psilocybin and magic mushrooms as treatment for depression as well. So that's very encouraging. So let me know if you have any good world news out there. Start tying this off. And that's the thing, also marijuana isn't for everyone. And that's the one thing that I think both sides of the marijuana debate have to remember, is that it might not be for you, and that's okay. But remember that it might be right for someone else, and the other way around too. Just because, you smoke weed all day to keep you level, or keep your anxiety at bay, or keep your pain at bay, or glaucoma, or not have seizures, or whatever the case may be. If you're one of those people, remember that not everyone is like that. And there are still many people that have a very negative opinion of marijuana. So you just need to learn to understand each other. Understand where each other is coming from. And if everyone would just open their minds and see things from the other person's point of view, there would be so intensely much less conflict in the world. I think empathy is one of the most important things in the world. Time to pull the pins on this one. Or like we were talking about in the last episode, the attitude of, I just thought I'd do what I could do. Combine those attitudes and the world would be a much better place. I'm going to leave the pins on the ends. Just going to put one more in over here. Just keep everything lined up. And we'll figure out what piece of cloth we're putting in next time. Let's have a look. Hey, that almost looks kind of straight-ish, sort of. Oh, those are the pins. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. I'm happy with it. I like it. And yeah, next time we will add on to it. Might add on to it. I also have another pair of jeans that need a little bit of TLC probably fairly soon, because these ones are starting to get a hole here as well. So yeah, might have to bounce back to the jeans and come back to the blanket project. But hey, that's coming along already. Like, that's not bad. I don't know how much of that you can see there, but yeah, pumped on this project. I've been wanting to do this for many years. So thanks for joining me. Cheers. Schedule's a little bit different today, so I don't have my coffee and cookie, but please remember yours, and thank you so much for joining me. I do value our time together. But yeah, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie if you got one there. Peace.